Yeah, we're back. Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. Len and Javier, we're going to give a recap over the fight this weekend. The fights, pretty good UFC. What would you rate that card out of a scale 1 to 10? What do you think, Jav?
Eight,
8?
eight. It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
What's a card where you're like, oh my gosh, why did I watch that on Saturday? Is like something like a 5 that would be bad, or a 6? What do you think?
What I would rate it because I
Yeah.
love MMA. The lowest I probably rated is a 6. I love MMA, so you're not going to get too bad ratings from me always on MMA. I'm always going to love something about it.
You're going to find something to like no matter what. Well, let's talk about some of the fights. So there was some stuff, the undercard, I caught a little bit. I didn't watch too much of that. I mean, uh, did you see the Kopolov fight with Claudio Ribeiro? Roman Kopolov,
Uh, yeah,
head
yeah,
kick KO, I believe.
yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good. The Kopolov kid looks like he's growing in his skills there. But to skip ahead, Gabriel Bonfim, and I guess he has a brother. He's fighting 170 against Trevin Giles. He looked phenomenal. Do you know much about those guys?
No, it's the first time I've seen him, and I know Trevor Giles because he was here before. Trevor had been here about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and Trevor's really good, So for him to get, taken out the way he did by the other guy, was it Bodim? You said
Bonfim.
Bonfim, yeah, to be taken out the way he did. Yeah, that's that guy. Yeah, superstar on the rise. That's for sure. Another potential, he's a potential, what do you call it? Calopasta, Paulo Costa type looking, because he looks like that, real buffed and stuff, but he seems to be a little bit more aggressive. Um, but and he's he's 15-0, and man, he's impressive. He's impressive. Did you see the way he grabbed that choke, and it was like, most of the times, most fighters usually get out of the choke he put, but he didn't get out. It's like he was so secure when he went down that he had it. It was like, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a little comfortable with that. Then you had, I mean, that was just impressive. I think we're going to see a lot more excitement from the Bonfim brothers. I hear they're both pretty comparable in their skills. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Did that go as you expected? Chiesa looked like ring rust to ring dust. I mean, he looked horrible coming in. Not to be critically mean, but I'm just saying he didn't look ready to come back to face someone like Holland.
Well, I mean, Holland is not generally known to be too difficult to take down for an accomplished type of wrestler. But like I said in the podcast before, is I didn't know Michael to be such an expert at taking you down. So his stand up has always been so. It hasn't been great. And Kevin's stand up is for MMA standards, it's great, and what we didn't expect, I guess, is for to Kevin to, put the darts on him like he did. That was pretty impressive. It was a darts choke, correct?
You know what? I think so. I just don't have the
Yeah,
100% recall, but yeah,
but he
he
did
choked him out.
what a nice choke on his ass. I said, wow, that's pretty impressive. I was impressed. I was impressed with Kevin, and I knew I would be. He's fun to watch, and but I knew Michael would be in trouble if he really couldn't take him down. He tried. He tried. He had some decent attempts, but Kevin's gotten a little bit better on the wrestling defense, and it showed. It showed. It showed. I mean, but obviously, you need to be able to feed off someone like Hamzat. That's a whole different level of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Michael Chiesa, he's not that type of wrestler. He never was, never will be. So I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do. But he himself had said he doesn't want to be one of those guys sticks around too long if he's not competitive. Well, this might be one of those telltale signs of maybe you're not competitive. Let's see what you want to do. It's his choice. But from what I hear, that was his reasoning and on how long he wanted to stay. Right? If he doesn't show
Yeah.
well, I think this is one of those ones where you need to really examine yourself, see if you want to come back, and if you do, great. Just improve from this last performance.
Well, he's had a respectable career, but he's gone through a lot, and it's like it's tough, and then you come up against someone sparky, fired up, and quick and powerful like Kevin Holland, and who's learning how to counter that wrestling. He's like, I know my weakness. He's been working on it, and he's been making improvements. So, and you're not a fold him up chair guy like Hazmat, like you said, the fold him up chair style wrestling, like just walk towards somebody and fold them up no matter what. They can't resist. They can't stop you kind of guy. So he's more like approach, try to get in there, okay, maybe I'm going to sink it in. And it's given a little bit more time for Kevin to escape and counter that takedown for sure. So he doesn't have the speed and power it takes to lock someone down like that.
What about the Maverick, the girl fight, the Maverick versus the other girl? There's Miranda Maverick. She won her fight. The other girl she fought, what's her name?
Priscilla.
Priscilla, yeah.
Pereira.
Yeah, where there was that one instance there where I don't know if it was like Miranda Maverick's accusing her of trying to take her bra off to expose her boobies. I don't know if that's true, but I'm curious because there was a mix-up on that one. Quite a bit of mix-up. I've never seen that before. So I'm wondering if, out of frustration, maybe she did that, maybe not. I don't know. I didn't really get to really see. I just know that Maverick's accusing her of trying to expose her, which that was kind of funny. I've never heard that one before. Which you kind of think that something like that would be thing that some other women may do, or guys exposing somebody, so they can get frustrated, and they do something just to get the upper edge, or because they're just frustrated, period.
I don't know the psychology of that. Yeah,
I don't know the reason. I just know that Miranda's accusing her of trying to expose her breast.
That's an interesting take. I mean, we've had women fighters for a long time. Why haven't we heard of such things earlier? Why hasn't it been, tried in the last several hundred fights? Who knows?
That's the reason why she might have some
There's been slip-ups before. There's been fight uniform slip-ups or some kind of like light exposure and recovery before, but
nothing like this. I've never seen nothing like this. So I don't know.
Interesting take. I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't see that story. Let's see. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Was that what you expected it to be, or was that different than you? I mean, Tony was coming in a 5-fight skid and now into 6. What do you think?
Well, I thought two guys very unorthodox fight each other. I thought was going to potentially be a barn burner or a very kind of lackluster type fight because they really can't read each other when you like that because there's no one like you to prepare for. So they had that in common. There was no one like each other to prepare for, and Tony was in great shape. Who knows if that eye poke he got, whether it was an eye poke or whether it was a punch, that started going down on him. But that is a potential because he was like Tony was having none of it. He was like he got poked in the eye. Either it was a legal punch or it was an eye poke. They couldn't really tell from the camera angles they showed, so I don't really know, but let's just say it was an eye poke. But being that the eye poke happened, I think that it's possible Tony was pretending that he could see and maybe he wasn't able to see. I don't know. I do know that he was in great shape, and I do know that he just got outstruck, but I'm just wondering if it had anything to do with the eye poke. He didn't look like a fighter that had lost his reflexes or anything of that nature. He looked like a guy that was hungry, and the thing that got me at the end was what a warrior he was, not tapping to the choke. There's no way he was going to tap. No way. He was thinking about it when you watch him move his leg. You see him bring his leg up and down and then he just went out.
It's crazy. For some reason, I can't see the chats in here, but sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening with the stream, but we are live. Tony Ferguson, I don't know. Do you think he's done? The UFC is going to say, hey, that's enough, or you've taken enough damage?
If the UFC says he's done, let's see what Tony says, because Tony's still good enough to go somewhere else. So I don't know. I have no idea on whether he's done or not. I can tell you this. He's not as good as he used to be. That I do know. But whether he's done or not, guy was in shape. He was ready to go. So,
He was a different guy 7 fights ago.
yeah, he was definitely a different guy, but he was in better shape for this fight. Even the whole thing, he was in good shape, man. So I don't know. I'm not the one to tell people they should retire.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So then we had the Derek Lewis fight. Happy to see him back in the winning thing. I thought he was going to beat Marcus Rogerio de Lima. I didn't think. I think I've watched Marcus back in Strike Force. He wasn't that scary of a guy to overcome. A lot of guys beat him, and I don't know. I just felt like Derek that was a good kind of a gimme fight for Derek. What did you think?
Well, wasn't Marcus favored?
Yeah, they had him favored, which was really weird at the odds. I mean, like they were just going so hard against the Black Beast. I'm like, no, the Black Beast is the Black Beast, bro. He's had a couple tough times, but he's not done.
Well, I just know that he hit him with that beautiful switch kick knee. I'm like going, wow, that knee. It didn't look at first like it landed. Then you looked at it, and it went right through and landed. And when he was on top, well, he was throwing them bombs. And of course Marcus wasn't responding. So if you're not responding, even though you might have been okay, he wasn't responding. So the ref had no choice but to stop the fight because the Black Beast kept just throwing and throwing and throwing, and it was no response back from his opponent. So the ref did a great thing by stopping that fight. It was a good stoppage. And then you got a situation after that where you had Wonder Boy. He was supposed to fight, but he neglected to go forward because his opponent was, I think, 2 or 3 pounds overweight. And this is the dilemma here, right? Now, normally you fight 2 or 3 pounds overweight guy because he didn't make weight. That's usually for the UFC. That's usually a match that you get the purse, the 20% from the other person added to you. But most people do not refuse those fights; they take them. Well, Wonder Boy didn't take this fight. He neglected not to. As a result of that, he got his show money not given because show money is not a guarantee. Just because you show up to fight, if your opponent's not there, you don't get your show money if you don't, especially if you don't accept the fight. They're not going to give you show money. So you shouldn't be expecting to get show money when you neglected, to continue the fight because the UFC has put on many of fights like that. But I'm wondering if there's going to be a backlash on him for not accepting a fight that mostly anybody else would. From his point of view, you can 100% understand his point. He's done it many a times. He's always made weight. So for him, it's a frustration thing. Why don't these guys make weight? Why should I always put myself in danger? I'm getting older. My situation is different than everybody else. I can't afford another loss. So a lot of things were going against him. So did he make the right decision? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Obviously from him and his camp he did, but I don't know. What does the UFC think about that? I think if the UFC was okay with his decision, they would have gave him his show money anyways because they're known to do that. They're known to do that. I've had my fighters pass out while trying to lose weight, and they got their show money, because they felt bad for them. But in this particular case, you didn't get your show money for that. I don't know.
Let's see. I mean, somebody said in the questions, did you see that kick coming from Black Beast? That was like aircraft carrier running over somebody's head, man. That was insane.
We've seen him try it many a times, but never landed. This is the first one. And according to him, he's been trying it for 5 years and it's never landed. And he said he was about to abandon that technique, but now he might try some more. But that's a Hail Mary type of kick, especially for a guy his size. But you notice how he looked, though? He was in shape, man. He never looked like this good. I've never seen him look this good.
So you saw something different, huh?
He looked good.
Yeah.
Compared to what he looked like before. He had a six-pack. Kind of semi had a six-pack. Real good. And he's comical too. He's great on the mic. I mean, here he goes, taking off his shorts again. I'm hot, and I know he's just a funny guy, man. He's fun to watch. He's an entertainer. And he comes to fight. comes to fight, and he throws it all down, and he did.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Now, Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Boy, Pereira looked so much bigger than Jan in the cage. He looked bigger than I'm like, how did that guy ever fight Izzy? Did he like take some Jack and the Beanstalk seeds and just grow, or just like the perspective of Izzy's height? You see that guy's tall, and then you see Jan, and then you see somebody with density plus the height. Oh my gosh. Did you expect Jan to do better, or did you expect Alex to run through him?
Well, I expected Jan to dominate if he took him to the ground, and let's see what he can do with him on the ground. And apparently, Alex has gotten better on the ground because he survived it. The first round, he got taken down, got dominated. He survived it, and the second round was a little bit, not quite the same, but it was another one of those where the first round was dominated by Jan. The second one, Alex got, and the third one, Alex was taking it away. Then Jan took him down, but for me, the problem was you just took him down. What did you do with it? Absolutely nothing. You didn't have him control for long. He got right back up, and now you're complaining about the decision. And I'm like, well, I'm judging this fight. I'm going Alex, 2-1. There's no way I would give Jan that third round based on just the takedown.
Yeah.
On the stand-up, he was getting outstruck. So yeah, you took him down, but what did you do with it? Absolutely nothing. You shouldn't get awarded points for taking somebody down unless you do something. You hold them down for a longer period of time.
You dominate them while you're something dominating about it, not just like I'm holding his ankle, he can't get up. Is that inflicting pain? Pushing towards winning a fight?
No. Look, I mean, I could see someone giving Jan the fight, and if they did, okay, oh well. But if I'm judging, I'd have to give it to Alex because Jan did nothing with the takedown. Did nothing. He just took him down. Think back about it. How many blows did he strike when he took him down? Nothing. And Alex got back up. So what do you credit more? The takedown, the getting back up? I mean, I don't know. I always thought takedowns are over judged. Like the guy takes you down, it's like a big hit, but. It's like say Hoist Gracie, right? I mean, he wants to be on the ground. What are you talking about? So you take Hoist down. Okay, big deal. That's where he wants to be. That's where he does his best work, So I don't know. The judging just still needs to, I don't know. It's better, definitely better. But I still think it needs more improvement because there's a particular case right here where there was, I got ripped off. Oh, no, it was the right call. I would say the vast majority of the professionals would have gave Alex the fight based on the inactivity that you did when you took him down. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's true. What did you think about the headline card? Gaethje versus Dustin. Last time Poirier looked dominant, but I told you in our last podcast, I go, I've noticed a different Gaethje. The way his timing, it's like the level of aggression and recklessness, pulled back a little bit to more accuracy. That's what I was seeing, more game planish than Rock'em Sock'em.
Well, you seen it in the previews. They're talking. The coach was saying, they're trying to slow him down, think more process about the fight rather than going, highlight reel type. So. It looks like what they were working on worked because that's what was going on. It looked like Dustin was in good control. He looked like he was doing well. And it's just a matter, like I had said, one punch, one kick could change everything. I didn't say it exactly one punch, one kick, but I'm saying any one of those guys can pull it off. I thought it was a close fight. I thought the fans would win. I was favoring Dustin, but I thought anything could happen. And Justin goes out there and does execute that beautiful head kick, followed by, it's a punch head kick. So you throw the punch and the kick follow right behind it. And the punch is not hard, but it's in your face. It distracts you, because a lot of guys, when that punch comes, they'll do this, and here you leave your neck exposed, and God, boom, that neck kick came right behind it. That was a beautiful. That's what happened to Kamaru with Leon Edwards. Same technique, now it just so happened that It happened the other way around now. It's very impressive. The fight was fun. It was a fun fight.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I don't know. I just had a feeling, just something I saw in him before in the fight before Fiziev, and I'm like, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's there's something different about him now. And Poirier, it's like he's been on his run, but I looked at it. I rewatched the fight, and that's just my instinct. I'm not going to say I'm a wizard and I call everything, but I had pretty good instincts about that. I didn't know it was going to be a head kick. Can't tell you that much. Go ahead.
I didn't know. I just thought it was going to be a good fight for the fans.
Now there's some questions here. It's a good one. Let's see. Let's say Uncle Liev in the past trains with Team Habib as well. Here's some rumors that he'll be fighting Johnny Walker. What do you think of the matchup?
Ankalaev, Johnny Walker, he's very dangerous on the stand-up on the ground. Ankalaev, if he fights properly, just take him down and dominate him on the ground. Stand-up is giving Johnny Walker more of a chance. But let's see what he decides to do. Last time he didn't do that until his calves were beat the crap by Jan. So let's see what Ankalaev does this. But I don't. I was around him with Team Habib, but he never trained with us. Maybe in Dagestan, but every time I've seen him in Las Vegas, we were with each other, but we didn't train with each other. They're friends, they're brothers basically. But I don't recall training with him.
I know. I didn't think so either. I thought that's what you're going to say. Let's see. It says, sorry, you had something to add to that?
No, but I'm just saying that doesn't mean they didn't train in Dagestan. That they could have trained with him there.
Yeah, I think so too. There might be footage out there of that happening. Say, what do you think of Tony Ferguson's career? Khabib predicted right way. What do you think? Should he quit fighting? Like basically, Khabib, said he'll never be the same after his fight with Gaethje.
I don't think he's ever gonna find that fountain of youth. So, but it's up to Tony. He can continue to fight. It's up to him what he wants to do. It's not like he's brain dead or he can't protect himself. He's still capable of beating a lot of people. So it's up to Tony.
And someone's asking, what do you think about Islam versus Oliveira #2? I know we might have talked about it before, but has your thoughts changed, or what are you thinking about it today?
That's just a really tough fight. We're going to have to come in and look at a tougher, more determined, Oliveira's, and he's just got to make sure Islam is hungrier than he was when he won the title, because usually that's what it takes, is being hungrier than the first time around and doing your homework, not being stupid. You can't get caught at this level. These guys are all the best in the world, so one mess up, and look what happened with Justin Gaethje, and Dustin. I mean, Justin Gaethje, one kick finished it. Before that, it was very competitive. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful that we don't get caught with anything, because once you do, it's the other guy's, opportunity.
For sure. Someone's asking, this is a question that gets always the news guys finally go, oh, I'm going to take this quote from Javier. Thanks to the people that ask us these questions. Do you think that Islam can outstrike Gaethje?
Yes, definitely can outstrike Gaethje. But the one thing that Gaethje is so good at is calf kicking. Oh my God, that guy's so good at it. He is so good. In the lightweight division, he's the best calf kicker there, and that was my biggest concern with Habib, with him. Gaethje, Islam could definitely strike with him. But for us, we have Oliveira to be worried about, and then who knows who's coming next. It may be the rematch with Volkanovski, which that could be what the UFC wants. Who knows what they want? But we need to focus first on Oliveira, and then let's see what the UFC throws us after we beat Oliveira. And we have to beat Oliveira. And of course, I talk like this because Islam's my guy. I have to talk like this. I have to feel this way. I have to believe that we're going to win, because if I'm not believing we're going to win and I don't talk like this, then why am I his coach? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and you're not going to no, that guy's going to win. What coach is going to say that? I'm sorry. It is a bit of a trick question, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, somebody asked, who's the hardest opponent for Islam? That's an interesting one. Who is?
Well, I
The
mean,
next fight every time, or
who's been the hardest fighter for Islam? I mean, if we're going by who's the hardest fighter that he's ever really had, then you got to go with that guy that he fought in Russia, that young kid.
Tarzan?
Yeah, whatever his name is, Sirikum or not. Yeah, what the one he fought in Russia, the young kid. He, you know,
He went by Tarzan back then. I can't think of the name off the top, but he got basically ousted. He just got beat in the Bellator. He might have faced Usman. He was the dark horse. He was coming to face Usman.
no, not Bellator.
No, but
He's in the UFC.
same.
He's in UFC.
Oh, Arman.
There you go, Arman. He gave Islam a real tough one. So if you're gonna say who's giving Islam the toughest fight, he did. I mean, Martin's, just check hooked him and he caught him perfect. So he wasn't getting beat by him by any means, and things weren't going back and forth. That was just one of those punch got in. No, I'm talking about what's Islam's toughest fight. Well, he was, regardless of what was going on with Islam at that time, that was his toughest fight. He hadn't had a tougher fight than that. That's the toughest fight he's had.
And put Volk in there. I would put Volk in the list.
Yeah, but the Volk was the toughest in the last minute of the fifth round. All the way around, Volk was because he did the damage. Volk was the toughest all the way around, 100%. Yep, you're right. Volk was the toughest.
Now, you were going to talk about boxing this weekend. We got good old, how many times have we been at this precipice again? The MMA guy, this time he's going to get it. I mean, we've seen some MMA guys win at boxing, then lose at boxing. We've seen Vitor do well. We've seen,
Anderson
do well. We saw a wrestler do horrible. And we've seen another wrestler do medium to bad. So... yeah. What is but Nick Diaz can box, man. We know this. I've known it secretly for 15 years. You've known it for many, many years too.
Yeah, probably about the same. I mean, Nick Diaz can box but we'll see what happens.
It's Nate Diaz.
Can the size make a difference? Because remember Canelo, when he went up to light heavyweight, the size was a little too much for him, so he lost his when he went up to light heavyweight. Canelo did, because he went up too heavy. It was too much for him, so he went back down in weight. So that's my issue with Nate is the size difference.
Yeah. Oh, I want to skip on that. Someone asked a good question while we're here, and someone also did mention that Anthony Pettis did well, and that's true. He did very well in boxing. He beat a former champ too. Pettis did.
I believe so. Yeah, I forgot who, but I believe Anthony Pettis did exceptionally well. Was Roy Jones? Was it Roy Jones?
It might have been. I don't want to quote it because
it wasn't Roy Jones. It wasn't Roy Jones. Who was that?
Someone will tell us. We'll say it when you guys bring it up. So, hi, Coach. What's the difference in preparing for a rematch that took place 5 years later, like Justin and Dustin, versus preparing for Islam and Charles that's only a year apart?
The difference is the fighters are so much different. So there's a big adjustment in between 5 years, and if it's just a year apart, there's a little adjustments you have to make. 5 years is really hard to say keep this, keep that. There's a lot more work involved because 5 years is a long time. 1 year is not as long, and you don't improve too much between 1 year. The difference is the improvement if the fighters improve between 1 to 5 years. So just imagine that. How good are you 1 year from now versus how good will you be 5 years from now? So there's the answer.
So it was Roy Jones, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was Roy Jones. He beat. That's amazing.
Yeah. So Pettis is a stud, but it's like everybody's on their last leg. Like, is it ever fair peak to peak? I don't think we've seen that yet. That's one thing.
Oh, no. Fighting Roy Jones on his peak, there was nobody could beat Roy Jones on his peak. Nobody. He just too fast, just too good. In his peak. Mike Tyson in his peak, maybe Muhammad Ali could have beat him in his peak. Muhammad Ali is my favorite, so maybe I'm being biased also. but I still think Muhammad Ali in his peak could beat anybody.
What's the biggest adjustments Islam needs to make in his second fight against Volkanovski?
Well, obviously the obvious is cardio. We can make sure that, but then we're gonna have 12 hours extra to rest. So that's gonna be a big part in itself. So the rehydration, it was a big one last time, and Alex didn't have to rehydrate as much because he didn't have as much to lose. And the one thing we have to be prepared for is now we know how strong he is. He's very strong. We know how good his cardio is. He's got great cardio. But, I know that when the rematch comes, we need to focus on Charles, but we'll adjust like what we need to when that comes. But Charles needs to happen first.
Yeah, this week we've got another fight. Umar was supposed to be on it, unfortunately hurt his shoulder. Sandhagen versus Rob Font. Rob Font stepping in. What do you think about that one? Let's just go with the headline for now.
It's a good, good replacement. Rob Font is good all the way around. Corey's gonna prove, or has to prove, why he deserves that spot. He's been, Rob's taken on short notice, very short notice. So I'm saying, let's see how good Corey is, because Rob Font is no pushover, and you should beat Rob, but you may not beat Rob because Rob could be a spoiler. He's still, Rob Font is a world class fighter, and I think Rob is. I've seen him on the rise, and I've seen him kind of diminish a little bit. So maybe he'll come back on the rise again. I don't know. We'll see.
And then there's a good women's fight just below that, the co-headlining Jessica Andrade versus Tatiana Suarez. That should be a banger.
Suarez is a beast. She's a beast. She's just tough all the way around now, becoming good striker, obviously good wrestler, great wrestler actually for women MMA, and she's a beast. I don't know. It's going to be tough for anybody to beat Suarez, in my opinion.
So how long before you start camp with Islam? You're going to be flying over there in like a couple of weeks or something, or a month?
No. The plan as of right now, the plan is for me to leave October 1st to Abu Dhabi, because he's going to be training at home. From what I know, he's training at home, because he wants to train at home. And just like he did last time for Australia, I show up the last 3 weeks. So he'll do his training at home, then I'll show up last 3 weeks in Abu Dhabi.
Well, that's pretty chill. Any predictions on Nick Diaz versus the blonde YouTube stallion?
Jake
Paul?
I'm pulling for Nate Diaz. I'm pulling for Nate Diaz to pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you see that going? Riding him out? How would he do that? You think that's the full fight, outwinning, outpointing?
Nate Diaz, I think, does it by stopping him. That's the way I think. That's the way I think he can win, by stopping him, outpointing him. Possible, but I'm thinking more stopping them late rounds.
That makes sense. Well, listen, everybody, like and subscribe. Hav and I are out. Hav's going to get back to training everybody. I have to get back to making little videos, and if you want to see cuts from this thing, they'll be in shorts, short videos. And thanks for tuning in.
All right, out.